Now this is a review of the next targets, which is target 8, and this is the one where many of you struggled. So to start, I want to just review a few things. So remember that homozygous, let's see, I gotta get that in there. So homozygous equals the same. So they're going to have two of the same letters. So that means, for example, if capital T equals tall and small t equals short, and they are homozygous, they're going to either have a capital T or a small t. So remember that the capital T is the dominant trait and the small t is the recessive trait. Okay, so if they are homozygous, that means that they're going to inherit two of the same trait. So either two dominant traits, so capital T, or two recessive traits, which is small t. The other option then is that they can be heterozygous or heterozygous. The hetero means that they inherit two different traits. Okay? So if they inherit two different letters, that means that they inherit one dominant trait, so one capital T, and one recessive trait, which means that they inherit one like this. Okay? Now, when we go to the next step, what it asks is, what we need to know is what are they going to show then? So for example here, the genotype is capital T. Okay? So if I do this, the genotype is capital T. The phenotype would be tall. Okay, so the genotype means tell me what letters they inherited. The phenotype means tell me what they're going to look like. So what physical trait am I going to see? So if their genotype is capital T, small t, we talked about there's a dominant trait here and a recessive trait. Well, the dominant trait hides or covers the recessive trait, so it's like it's not there. So my phenotype is still going to be tall. Okay? Now, if their genotype is small t, so they inherited two recessive, so they're here, this one is homozygous recessive. Their phenotype, according to this, that small t equals short. So that phenotype is short. So their genotype is their letters. Their phenotype is what they're going to look like. Now they always have to have two letters in their genotype because they inherit one letter from mom and one letter from dad. So let's look at this. Okay, again. And let's say that the first question on the test, so I'm going to go right over what you guys did on the first test. So it says, which of the following is the genotype? Okay? So genotype, again, remember that means what letters did they inherit? Okay? Now it tells us here that capital T equals tall, and I'll tell you that if I had to take this test, I would have been writing things on my paper the whole time. So I would say get out a piece of scratch paper while you're taking your retest. So capital T equals tall, and small t equals short. Okay? So then the question says, which of the following is the genotype? So what letters for a homozygous? Okay? Homozygous, remember, means same. So homozygous tall parent. Well, tall is represented by capital T. Homozygous means same, so that means I need to answer capital T, small t, because they inherited two capital letters. Okay? The next question then refers to mice. And so here we're going to do capital G, or it says in mice gray fur is dominant. So capital G will be gray and small g equals white. Okay. It says what would be the genotype of a white mouse? So again, genotype means that you're going to tell me what letters did they inherit. So what letters did they inherit? And if they're white, so I need a white mouse. The only way to show white is to have G. So this would be small g, small g. That's a white mouse. So that was the answer to question 2. Question 3 asks us to use the capital G equals gray and the small g equals white again. Okay? So this time it says 2 heterozygous gray mice mated. Now I'm going to use first of all, I need to know what heterozygous means. And again, remember that heterozygous equals different. So I need 2 different letters, so one capital and one lowercase, so that means that they're going to inherit capital G, small g. Now it asks me what percentage of their offspring, so it's mating a capital G, small g with a capital G, small g. So I'm going to make a Punnett square, and I'm going to cross 2 heterozygous parents. And then it says what percentage of their offspring will be white. So this one, because we look here and white is small g, so in order to be white they have to have 2 small g's. The only box that has 2 small g's here is this one. Okay, this one's going to show gray, this one's going to show gray, and this one's going to show gray. The whole box is 100%. If you divide that into 4, that means each box is 25%. So 25% of the offspring will be white. So that's crossing 2 heterozygous individuals because they're capital G, small g, so heterozygous means different. I did the Punnett square and I get 25% will be white. Okay, now this one was kind of surprising to me because it says capital R equals red and small r equals white. Okay. Okay, and it says a bird inherited one of each alleles from its parent, so it is capital R, small r. What would be their phenotype? So phenotype again is what are they going to look like? What trait will I see? Will I see red or will I see white? And I was surprised the number of you who said red and white. We never talked about a situation where both are showing. Remember, the dominant trait hides or masks that trait. So the capital R means that we are going to see a red feathered bird. Now suppose a child inherited a dominant allele, capital D for dimples, from her mother, and a recessive allele for no dimples from her father. Okay, so it tells us in that trait that capital D equals dimples and small d equals no dimples. What would be the phenotype? Again, the phenotype is what are we physically going to see. So the phenotype is what trait will we see. Okay. So if I look at this, remember the capital D hides or masks that lowercase d. So in this case, the phenotype would be that they have dimples. Okay. All right, next one. In pea plants, capital T equals tall, small t equals short. Okay. What word would best describe the height of a heterozygous? So heterozygous, 2 different alleles. So are these 2 going to be tall or short? This plant. So again, capital T hides or masks the lowercase t, so the tall trait will show. Okay. We're going to go back. Again, this one goes back to our gray fur. So here we have gray and is capitalized, and white, gray is a dominant trait, and white is the recessive trait. Okay. So it says if 2 homozygous means same, homozygous recessive is the lowercase letter, so 2 of the same lowercase letter. If we mate 2 of those, capital G, or small g, and small g, if I make that Punnett square, now some of you wouldn't need to make the Punnett square, but your mistake was maybe in knowing what was homozygous. What percentage of the offspring will be white? Well, to be white, we said before, you need to be small g equals white. So how many boxes are white? Oh, all 4. So all 4 boxes, that means that 100% of the offspring would be white. Okay. Now the last problem, okay. Here we go, the last question. It says yellow, capital Y equals yellow, small y equals green. Okay. If your plant is homozygous dominant, well, we know homozygous means same, and dominant means a capital letter. So that means that they are capital Y, capital Y. And then it asks us, what would their phenotype be? Phenotype means, again, phenotype goes what trait will we see? What trait will I see? And in this case, if they're capital Y, I'm going to see yellow. So the answer is yellow. Now, if you watched this video, I hope that helped you to review for your test. Now you can go ahead and take your retest.